We're going to finish our notes from yesterday. We had a couple of extra examples at the very end. So if you would look with me on the bottom, these two extra problems that we wrote. So we're going to work these out. So yesterday we talked about simplifying expressions by combining like terms. And now we're going to simplify by distributing and combining like terms. So this first one, it's negative 2b minus parentheses 3 minus 4b. So out front, we don't have a number in front. So if there's no number, there's an understood 1 there. So add a 1 here. And that is what we are going to distribute to everything inside the parentheses. So we're going to send it in like this. So y'all follow along. So right now we just have this negative 2b. Let's just carry it down. And then we have negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And if you're not sure, you can always use your calculator. But when there's a parentheses here, you are doing a multiplication there. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Negative 1 times a negative 4b. So negative times a negative becomes a positive 4b. But we're not done yet because we have to combine like terms. So we have negative 2b and a positive 4b. So if they're different signs, you subtract and keep the sign of the larger. So 4 and 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. Keep the sign of the larger, so it's a positive 2b. And then the negative 3, we just carry it down to minus 3. Put a box around your solution, your simplified expression. Okay, the next example on here, we have a 3a minus 5, and then a parentheses 4a plus 2. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to distribute the number in front of the parentheses, which it's not just 5, it's the whole thing. So get in the habit, anytime you're distributing a number in front, circle that number so you know what it is. So we're multiplying the negative 5 times everything inside. Let's carry down the 3a. And then we're going to multiply negative 5 times 4 is negative 20a. So you don't have to add a plus, a negative, or anything like that. Just put minus. Minus is when you have two numbers between them. It's a negative if you just ignore the number that's in front of it. So you can use minus and negative kind of interchangeably. Okay, then you have to multiply the negative 5 times a 2. Negative 5 times 2, negative 10. And if you need to work these out with the calculator, what I mean by that is you can combine your like terms by just looking at the numbers. So like 3 minus 20. 3 minus 20. Different signs, you subtract and you keep the sign of the larger. Negative 17a. And then the minus 10 just kind of is tacked on there. Okay, we're going to glue this in the next page in our journal, and I do have another example for y'all. So go ahead and glue it in, and then we'll do another example in our journal. So it should go on page 7. We're going to add some examples in here right next to the yellow page. So we have 2x minus 3, parentheses 3 plus x. I want you to go ahead and do that one. Distribute and then combine your like terms. You could add a 1 on this x right here. That's the only spot. Almost looks like an H though. Go ahead and distribute. What are y'all distributing? Negative 2 times 3. Yep, your multiplying. Negative 3 times 3. Good. Yep. You said what's 3 times 3? 9. If they're different signs, it's negative. If they're the same signs, it'll be a positive. Negative 3x. Negative 3x. You forgot the x. That'll change your answer. Yep. Your x's, but one's a positive, one's a negative. So are you going to actually add them? No, you'll subtract them because they're different signs. What's the difference? Yes. You have to do 2x minus 3x. What's 2 minus 3? This is 1. Okay, you don't need those double negatives. You just need a minus. Cool. Yeah, just take one of those away. Okay, what about the 9? Negative 3 is positive. You should positive. But if they're different signs and you're multiplying, you should get a negative. Okay, so we'll distribute the negative 3 here. We're just going to carry down that 2x, and then we have negative 3 times positive 3, so negative 9. And then a negative 3 times a positive 1 is just a negative 3x. So don't forget that x on there. And then combine your like terms, so 2x minus 3x. So if you want to put that in the calculator, you would just put 2 minus 3. Which, if they're different signs, you subtract and keep the sign of the larger. So 2 minus 3 is 1, but we keep the sign of the larger, so it's a negative 1x minus 9. You just carry down the minus 9.
So you subtract them?
Mm-hmm. You could also write this as negative x minus 9.
You never go like multiply or anything?
The only thing we multiplied is right here where there's a parentheses.
Oh, yeah.
When we distribute it. Other than that, no. Mm-mm. Okay, let's do another one. Negative 4p minus parentheses 1 minus 6p. What are you going to distribute on this one?
One.
What kind of one? A negative one. So if there is just a minus parentheses, that means you need to go ahead and put that 1 there, and that's what you're distributing. Yes, so you put a plus in between them. You're multiplying that 1 times 6. It should be negative 1 times a negative 6. It should be a positive because you're doing negative times a negative. So that should be a plus. So far, so good? Hold on. Negative times a negative. Positive. Yeah, because this one is negative. That should be plus.
Yeah, I thought you said we never know.
Because you did a minus. Why'd you put a minus? But you already took care of it. You did negative times a negative, making it positive. That's why.
You said no one minus. I just, are we ever gonna like multiply them?
And I said no multiplying.
Or like anything else?
Oh, I didn't get anything else. I got the multiplying. Yes. Done. Yep. Done. Great job. So negative 4p plus 6p. Negative 4. You can't do that because those aren't like terms. One doesn't have p and one does have a p. It would be, mark that line out. Okay. Go ahead and take care of this. Negative 4 plus 6. 2p. But how'd you get that minus 2? Okay. What operation are you doing? Multiply. Negative 2 comes to positive 2. It's not the larger. 6 is larger. All right, so don't forget we're multiplying whenever we're distributing. We're just going to carry down this 4p here. Negative 1 times a positive 1 is a negative 1. Negative 1 times a negative 6 is a positive 6p. Then you combine your like terms, just the p's. So negative 4 and a positive 6. Remember, different signs we subtract and we keep the sign larger. So it'll be 2p and then just carry down the minus 1. Okay, your assignment is going to be this. I'm going to pass it out, and you have time in class to work on this. Most people were able to finish it in class. If you don't, it does become homework. I do need for you to show some kind of work. So like on this one, this is where you start, and you're going to follow the arrows that have your answers. So the way you would show work on this is you'd look for your like terms and underline them. So here, I could just underline those, and I'd be like, okay, 5x minus the 3x is 2x. 2y doesn't have anything, so plus 2y. So I know I'm going this direction. Okay? You can use color pencil marker to color this in, or you can just shade it with your pencil. Okay, the next one. This is just a distribution. So the way I show that is like this. 5 times k is 5k. 5 times 3 plus 15. Yes, you do need to show work for credit. Okay, so I'm gonna pass that out.